Hello there and welcome to the Drowsy Dragon. This is a complete midnight pre-patch guide for you to get you all the information that you need. We'll go through the full list of system changes, all the new additions to the game, and all the information and rewards that you can get from the pre-patch event. We're going to start off with the housing updates first of all, and then we'll cover the class changes and the UI updates, and the changes to demon hunters as well. So let's strap in and let's begin. Starting with the housing changes. So there's quite a lot coming to housing. We can now level our houses up to level 9, which brings quite a lot of goodies along the way. We also get the Blood Elf and Night Elf exterior options for the outside of our houses, and we get endeavours. So what is an endeavour? It's basically about a month-long event that will happen in the housing neighbourhood, where there'll be some visitors coming to the neighbourhood to see you and do various things with you, and you can assist them in various ways. So it could be, for example, the Lone Niffin, or it could be some struggling Silver Moon artists, or perhaps the Ethereals for some reason coming to visit. Now, there'll be various activities to complete. You can see these on this menu here, and there'll also be a main vendor tied to this event as well, this Endeavour event. So you'll collect these community tokens, which you can use for new decor items, which will have the theme of whoever the current visitors are. Now, in public neighbourhoods, the endeavour will be randomly set, but in guild neighbourhoods, you can also choose which endeavour you want. Now, Blizzard have said this isn't going to be the case every time, but the majority of the time you can pick. It might be, for example, during Winter Veil. There's a specific Winter Veil endeavour active for that month, which would make sense. Also worth noting is the fact that you may have a friend who is in a different neighbourhood to you. They may have a different endeavour active in their neighbourhood, so you can absolutely go and visit them and take part in their endeavour activities, and also get the rewards from that as well. So do bear that in mind. You're not just locked to the one that your current neighbourhood is in. And endeavour activities are going to be likely the best way to level up your house. It's much better than compared to just collecting decor items, especially when you've collected quite a lot of decor. You're kind of scraping the barrel for those little 10 XP bonuses, aren't you? Which is kind of measly if I'm being honest. But endeavour activities are much better. Sometimes you can even get like 65 house XP from completing one activity, which is really nice. So what can you get for levelling up your house even further? Do bear in mind, by the way, that some of these rewards might only go active when actual Midnight launches, but I've got my fingers crossed that with Midnight pre-patch being 12.0, that might be when we get these things active. For example, level 6 gets us the Half-Light Armillary, which is what we're going to be able to use to change the lighting in our houses. Now, I really hope this is for each individual room and not just for the whole house overall. You might want to have a really creepy dark basement, for example, and a nice bright room upstairs. So if you can only have it bright or dark, it kind of kills that opportunity. So let's wait and see. We've also got the daylight rooms, the outdoor daylight and nighttime rooms that we've already unlocked, if you've already gotten to level 5, but they do say available in Midnight. Blizzard hasn't yet said if they're going to be available in pre-patch, so we'll have to wait and see. When we get to level 7, we get a big chunk more interior budget and room placement. Level 8 is when we unlock the medium-sized house exteriors, so we haven't properly seen these yet. But, you know, rest assured someone will zoom all the way to level 8 and 9 on the first day, probably. So I'm sure we'll see some of those examples on social media pretty soon. And level 9 will basically get us double the limit of the interior placement budget that we do currently have now. I believe it's 2,040 currently, thereabouts. At level 9 we'll get up to 4,340 decor placement budget and 95 room placement budget, which is also basically double what we have currently at level 5. So there's going to be some absolute mansions going on. Bring it on. And remember that another really nice change that's coming is a lot of items have had their decor placement budget reduced. For example, beams that normally cost us 3 budget to place down now only cost us 1. So you might find that when you log in on pre-patch, if you were, say, at the cap of 2,000 items placed in your house, you might log in and be at about 1,700 thereabouts. So you've got a few hundred more decor placement budget to play with currently. So, again, you can just place more stuff, bring it on. Next up, we've got the class combat design update. So this one's going to feel slightly odd. Now, a lot of classes have been basically kind of gutted, you know. So a lot of your spells may have been baked into other spells. Some spells have been removed. Some of them, quite a lot of classes have had a lot of spells removed. So you may find that your action bars look a little bit bare when you log in on patch day. Now this is the aim to kind of simplify things a little bit, hopefully not too much. I'm a little bit apprehensive to see how this goes because some classes might feel pretty bare, but having tested this out on PTR and beta, it's not too bad. You know, having said this, remember that when we are playing the pre-patch, we are missing our next few bits of talents. We also don't have access to Apex talents yet on the pre-patch, so things will feel a bit better when we get to level 90. We've got all of our talents, and we can have the Apex ones as well. And of course, gear stats are going to increase. We'll have more haste, for example. So it might feel a bit weird in pre-patch, but that is kind of normal. That's usually the way things go in a pre-patch. As well as this, we've also got the stat squish that's going to happen. So numbers are going to go down quite substantially, including your item level. So don't panic if you log in and your item level is way lower than it was when you last logged out. It's meant to happen. So there might be some weird tuning here because it's also usually the case that when we have a stat squish, which has happened quite a few times before, usually the older legacy content gets a little bit weird. Things that previously you could solo, maybe not anymore. Not for now until they fix it. And rest assured, they do usually fix this quite well, but it can take a couple of months. With there being a new expansion, it's not really top priority to make sure you can go back and solo an old raid. A little tip here before the pre-patch goes live, remember that because of the item level squish, whenever the item level goes lower, it actually vendors for less money, that piece of gear. So if you have gear just knocking around in your bags that you're not really using, vendor it now because you'll get more gold for it. It might be worth 60G now, but after the pre-patch, it could be worth 2G. So just some free easy money sat there that you may have. Remember though, that if you've got gear that is from Season 1 or 2 of the War Within, you can freely catalyse that now. So that could be a nice way to get some of the appearances that you've not already got from the raid sets from Season 1 and 2. Another massive thing happening with the pre-patch is of course the removal of a lot of the combat add-on features that are possible for add-ons. So you may find that there's quite a lot different with your UI when you log in. Some of the add-ons that you use for combat may just simply not work, they might be heavily changed, or just maybe unavailable. So the out of combat add-ons should be completely fine. Things like TomTom and Plumber and Homebound, things like that. Narcissus, for example, all fantastic add-ons by the way. They'll be untouched, but the combat ones, like I say, they just may not be working in the pre-patch. I'm sure you've heard, for example, Weak Auras is not going to be functioning. They're not continuing development into the expansion. And add-ons such as iLvl, I believe they're not yet ready for the pre-patch, but they are working on making it into a functional version that works going into midnight. So just keep up to date with your favourite add-on developers and I'm sure they'll let you know how things are going. I'd basically just recommend whenever you log into the game, just make sure your add-ons are completely up to date because there'll be a lot of changes going on and a lot of development into the expansion. So if your add-ons are bang up to date, you'll likely run into less issues. It's kind of like decision time here. Do you strip everything back and just go with the base Blizzard UI, which has been a lot of improvements too, or do you wait and see which add-ons are functioning and maybe change add-ons out as well to different alternatives? The Blizzard UI itself is pretty decent now. You know, it's still got some work to be done on it. You've got the cooldown manager, which has received some decent updates in the pre-patch. You've also got the Blizzard Rave frames, which are better than they used to be, with some decent buff tracking on there now. But again, it's not quite as good as what you had with things like iLvl. You've got nameplates, which have massively improved, but they don't offer quite the same level of customization compared to add-ons such as Platinator or Plumber, but they're better than they were. And then you've of course got the Blizzard Damage Meter, which did have a rocky introduction on the beta, but now it seems to be working pretty decently, with some decent options there as well. Do check out my UI video that I did recently if you're curious to see what I did with my UI going into midnight. I did get rid of iLvl and got a few alternatives in, so if you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description for you. Now then, Demon Hunters, you do of course have a brand new specialisation in the form of the Devourer, a very flashy class, and it looks very fun to play as well actually. So now's when you can properly get your hands on it. Again, remember, you're missing a few things, talents and things aren't fully available, so get a feel for it, see if you like the feel of the class. If you do, you may want to carry on into midnight and play that as well and use that as your new main. There's no unlock required for this, all you have to do is log in and the spec will be available to any Demon Hunter. Even newly created Demon Hunters at the lowest level, which I believe is level 10 for a Demon Hunter. If you want to be a Void Elf Demon Hunter, that will indeed be possible. All you need to do, it doesn't take long to unlock, you need to complete the questline in Koresh called In Search of Darkness, which if you've already done the Koresh quests, you will have finished that off. If you are a returning player, do not worry, it does not take long to get this. It's the one with the dodgy guy Adaris Duskblaze. Just follow that questline through, takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Once you've done that, you will then find Messenger Aelor, who for now will be in Dornigal. He will be in Silvermoon when Midnight goes live fully. You just follow his questline through, that will unlock Void Elf Demon Hunters for you. So you can just then maybe race change, or you could create a brand new Demon Hunter. The choice is yours. Simple as that. Next up, the Transmog Updates. So the first thing you'll notice is that the UI is completely different now. It's much bigger, so you've got more space to see what you're actually doing in there. And there's a few different options you've got. Now, when I explain this, it might sound a little bit complicated, but when you get your hands on it, it will all make sense. I'll try and keep it as simple as I can. So you've got more options now in the form of outfits and situations. So with outfits, the way that they work, you create an outfit slot. You do get 2 automatically by default, but you can buy many more, up to 50. You can assign a transmog to an outfit slot. And then you can also assign this outfit slot to a situation, such as when you're in a rested area or a dungeon, or in your home, or even on the login screen. Now, you don't need to pay to change between outfits once you've set it up initially, but you will need to pay if you want to change items in the outfit set. A bit like how we do now with current Transmog. Outfit slot unlocks are account-wide, so you only need to buy them once. And you can even drag these outfit slots to your bars and use them to change between outfits instantly, so you actually don't need to go to a Transmog vendor once your outfits are set. So you have to pay gold to change the Transmog within each outfit. You also have to pay gold to unlock more outfit slots, and this does ramp up quite steadily as you buy each one. To unlock all 50 outfit slots, it will cost just over 2 million gold, which is pretty insane. However, it's very unlikely that anybody will actually need to do this. They better not put an achievement in for getting all 50 slots, because that's going to make collectors and completionists want to get this done, and that would be pretty damn mean, so don't do it, Blizzard. So the average person may only need about 5 to 10 outfit slots, because realistically, when have you ever swapped between 50 different transmogs on the fly? You just haven't, have you? Be honest. So to unlock 10, that'll cost you about 12,500 gold. Much more manageable than 2 and a bit mil. The best thing about this new transmog system is the fact that you're transmogging the slot and not the actual item itself, which is so good. So if you've got, say, 5 of your best outfits that you switch between regularly, once you've paid, it's about 3,000 gold for the overall transmog for every slot in the outfit. But once you've got the outfit set, you can freely switch between each one. So you're actually going to save gold over the long run. And whenever you get a new piece of gear, fine, it's just going to override that appearance, so you don't need to keep on changing it every time. Brilliant change. Another feature coming in the pre-patch are the training grounds for PvP. So you've probably heard of Comp Stomp before. Blizzard have basically expanded upon that feature, that system, and it's now going to be available all the time, but under this new name of training grounds. And they've also added the Battle for Gilneas and the Silvershard Mines maps to this feature. So you can basically go in, play against AI opponents, which are not simply pushovers, but if you've got a decent team, they are a pushover. And you can basically just test out the maps and see how PvP works. It's really good if you're nervous, because it can be quite daunting. So get stuck in, test out your class, see how it works in that environment and as a team in a PvP setting. And that should make you feel more confident to get into an actual PvP battle with human players. So, lastly, the next big thing coming in is the pre-patch event. Now, this is going to start the week after pre-patch launches, so that'll be January the 27th or 28th, depending on where you are in the world. Now, a quest will pop as soon as you log in when this has gone live. It'll take you to the Twilight Highlands. There's some introductory quests to do, which will take about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you can just jump in. It's a pretty simple event. There's 2 weekly quests that you can get from the central hub. So one of them is to kill 3 rares, very straightforward. The other one is slightly weird. It's to kill 8 rares or do 8 world quests. So you can do a bit of both. Now this is per account, so you don't need to go through all your alts farm in this weekly quest, because it is the best way to get the currency, but you can only do it once per week anyway. Now the currency for the rewards is the Twilight Blades Insignias. Now you get 1 per rare mob kill, so not very much. 10 per world quest and 40 per weekly quest completion, so that is the best way to get these badges. What can you buy from them, you ask? Well, quite a few things actually. So you've got some champion gear you can buy to use to catch up on your item level if you're a new player or leveling up an alt, and you can also use this at the Catalyst as well. So it's a nice way to get some Season 3 War Within sets if you want the appearances for those. There is a mount available as well, the Retrained Sky Razor, which is pretty nice. And there's a few different pets to choose from. You can also use these weapon sets as just cosmetic things as well as the armour. And speaking of armour, there's also the Twilight Cultist set as seen here. Now this was unobtainable since the Cataclysm came and revamped the world. So if you want a chance to get this set again, the time is now. You can buy the ensemble for that and it's yours. There's also a tabard as well. And there's 2 achievements, so there's another mount available if you kill all of the rays in this event, in the Twilight Highlands, which they're basically on a 10-minute cycle, so you should be able to get this done fairly quickly. And the way that the rays work, don't worry about flying and landing and the rays already dead, because the way they work is, it's like a bit of an event. So one will start to be summoned, you've got to then kill the lesser mobs and interact with things in the zone. Once you've done that and filled the progress bar up, there'll be some lieutenants or summoners or channelers, usually 3. You kill those and that's when you can then attack the actual main ray. And they will be quite big rays, so again the more people that attack it, it should scale up with health. So you should have time to get there and get involved in the action. Kill all the rays, you get yourself this mount. And don't miss this one as well, there is a little tic-tac-toe, or noughts and crosses if you're from the UK like me, game that you can play in the base camp. So I believe you've got to get 50 wins of this and you get this achievement as well. So the AI on this is actually quite good. It kicked my ass a few times. So, you know, it's formidable opponents. But get the wins and you'll get this achievement. And let's not forget there's some decor items from the event vendor as well. Now, I'm not exactly sure with this, when you buy them the first time, if they'll become available after the event anywhere else. Because you've got these 3 nice Blood Elven themed items here. It would be a shame if you could only buy them once. You know, let's say you don't do the event every week. Or maybe you want to spend your tokens on gear instead. You know, what if you don't only buy 1 copy of these? So hopefully they're available for gold. As long as you've already purchased one of them from the vendor and got credit for that, maybe you can buy them again after the event. But no confirmation there, we'll just have to wait and see. And that brings us to the end, guys. So that is a wrap up of everything coming in the Midnight pre-patch. What are you most excited for? Personally, for me, it's the housing stuff. Getting stuck in there with the guild and the endeavours and all that stuff. I can't wait to see how that plays out and see everyone getting stuck in there. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I do appreciate your time. If you want to support the channel, do consider leaving us a like and subscribing to the Drowsy Dragon for more content all about World of Warcraft from myself. And we've also got the Patreon that you can subscribe to if you wish. Details are in the description, or you can become a YouTube channel member as well, whichever you prefer. Thanks again for watching, guys. I've been the Drowsy Dragon, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. Enjoy the pre-patch.